I'm never not going to be weirded out by whatever the hell it is that is happening with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I've talked multiple times in the last week about how she's siding with Democrats on the Epstein files. She actually came up with a half-good idea about influencers having to disclose who's paying them. She, of course, has now warmed up and is on the Democrats' side, basically, with regard to saving the Obamacare subsidies so 74,000 of her own constituents don't lose their health insurance. It's weird. But it got even weirder this week in different interviews. One that she did with comedian Tim Dillon on his podcast, and then one that she did with the Washington Post, where she said that the Republican Party is filled with weak men who are afraid of strong women. And that's a very true statement, and it's just shocking that that's coming from Marjorie Taylor Greene. But in the interview with Dillon, she actually called out Donald Trump for his ridiculous trade war that is not yielding positive results for the United States. It's inflicting harm on the American public. And she called him out for being more focused on enriching his own crypto investors and building a patio over the Rose Garden than he is about what he's doing to the country. It was shocking. I will read you some of these quotes in just a second, but first, a quick word from today's video sponsor. By now, you know Trump's big, beautiful bill has passed, but almost no one's reporting how ICE will get nearly $40 billion of our tax money each year, making it the most heavily funded law enforcement agency in U.S. history. That's more money than most nations spend on their entire military. So much of our media is either missing the worst of this bill or twisting the language so you think it's all in your best interest. But we've seen the ICE raids ramping up. Now Trump's openly threatening to deport U.S. citizens. This should be the biggest story in America, yet it's buried. Making ground news essential right now is what all of this is doing. They're the only tool I've found exposing these blind spots in the media. By gathering the world's news in one place, organizing it by story, then analyzing just how far right and radical each unbiased source actually is, you get way more context than you ever would anywhere else. If we're being honest, we've seen Trump's power grabs throughout history. They said never again, and that means never again everywhere. And right now, it's happening here. So if you want to stay ahead on immigration, the economy, or simply finding the stories missing from your news feeds, Ground News has you covered. Their app and website is a smarter, more reliable way to stay informed at a time when MAGA is banking on us to stay distracted. So I've partnered with them to get you 40% off the same Vantage plan that I have been using. That comes out to $5 a month for unlimited access to everything I've mentioned and so much more. Just go to ground.news/Farron or scan the QR code to subscribe. With at least another 4 years of this, we can't afford to miss these details. So in the interview with Tim Dillon, here's what Marjorie Taylor Greene had to say about Trump. I'm talking to major manufacturing companies that they're saying we support the president, we support what he's trying, his long-term goal, but we're having problems with these tariffs, and now we have problems. We can't get supplies from this country, and we can't get supplies for this country, and there's problems. But have regular people's bank accounts been affected? Has the stress come off? No, that has not happened yet, and that needs to be the major focus. It shouldn't be about helping your crypto donors or your AI donors or welcoming in these people that hated you and spent money to try to beat you, but all of a sudden are excited to come out to the new Rose Garden patio. That shouldn't be the focus. The focus should be the people that showed up at the rallies, stood there for freaking 18 hours trying to get in the rain and the cold and the 100-degree heat. For those people, those are the ones that I care about. Whew, boy. And then she told the Washington Post about Republican men. She said, quote, "There's a lot of weak Republican men, and they're more afraid of strong Republican women. So they always try to marginalize the strong Republican women that actually want to do something and actually want to achieve." So she's calling out Trump. She's calling out the rest of the Republican Party. She's siding with Democrats. Surely the district that she represents, which went by more than 70 points to Donald Trump, surely they're not happy with this, right? I mean, this kind of goes against everything that they voted for. Wrong. CBS News actually traveled down to Marjorie Taylor Greene's district, spoke to people in the district, average people for the most part, and they love it. Suddenly, these hardcore conservative voters love the new faux progressive Marjorie Taylor Greene, because it turns out they actually like progressive ideas like subsidies for the Affordable Care Act that I'm sure most of them were members of the Tea Party protesting against the health care bill. But here's what a few of them said. This one is from David Goldenshaw, who is the vice chair of the Floyd County Republican Party. He said, quote, "She understands what she can do and can't do, and she understands where you just sometimes need to be practical. We do need to supplement the premiums. I think she's looking out for her constituents. We can't just let premiums double for those who are using it." Yeah, you're right. I mean, but you need to thank Obama for that. Again, you were probably out there, one of the people protesting it. You've probably said, we need to repeal Obamacare. I'm sure you have. But now that that actually could happen, you're like, wait, no, I actually like it. Again, 74,000 people in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district rely on these subsidies to get their health care. So her district would basically lose its health care if the bill she voted for goes through. Don't forget that. Another one, this was just a resident by the name of Sarah Rogers, said, "I think it's recognizing who is voting for you. If you're agreeing with policies that support the people who live in your area, then people are more likely to reelect you." Fair point. Then resident Danny Grissom said, "Sounds like she's trying to look after the little guy. As long as it's Americans we're talking about saving money for and not giving our money away." Do none of you residents realize that you're praising Marjorie Taylor Greene for trying to side with Democrats to save the Affordable Care Act, to save Obamacare? All these things that you guys rely so heavily on that you do not want to see gone are the things you've voted against election after election after election. Marjorie Taylor Greene, up until just 2-3 weeks ago, was one of these people calling for the complete repeal of Obamacare. You voted for her to do this, and she did it. And now she's like, oh no, I made a mistake. And you guys are like, oh, look at her. She's fighting for us. She f***ed you. Metaphorically. Now she's trying to undo that, so you forget that she did it to you. Okay? Don't give these people a free pass just because they agree with us every now and then on one or two issues. The Affordable Care Act is good. Is it great? No. Does it have issues? Yes. Same as everything else on the planet. But it is a hell of a lot better being in place than not existing. And these voters know it. But what they have forgotten is that they have spent their entire adult lives voting against the people that have been trying to give them things like the Affordable Care Act and voting for people who are trying to take away their health care, like Marjorie Taylor Greene up until 2 weeks ago. Thanks for watching, everyone. You know, we're inching closer and closer to 1 million subscribers, and we're aiming to hit that goal before the year closes. So if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please do so, and don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thanks for joining us as we head towards this huge milestone.